Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your Chelsea versus Brighton Premier League match preview. Lots to discuss going into this game, lots of ambiguity about the potential Chelsea starting 11. I want to discuss a little bit about the Christopher Nkunku situation scenario. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I think it's pretty obvious if you look at the fact that he's not really been involved so much this week in training. Pochettino says they're going to see today, as in right now on Saturday, if he's going to be available for selection. I just think when you've not been training the whole week, how on earth can Saturday, all of a sudden, it's just like light bulb moment, Christopher Nkunku is going to be fit and ready to play for Chelsea in a game that's obviously going to be high octane, lots of energy. Brighton are going to come, try and play. They've done very well here before. They won in the Europa League in the build-up to this one, and they're going to be buoyed by that victory. They've qualified for the next round of the Europa League. They came to Stamford Bridge last season, and I would say, when I think back to some of the poor Chelsea performances last year, there were some games where you can look at the result, look at the performance and think, well, we were bad, they were better, they won, we lost. When it came to Brighton coming to Stamford Bridge last season, they were amazing. They played some incredible football, absolutely deserved to annihilate us. And I'm hoping that we can go into this one and basically play on the fact that this season, when you watch Brighton play, you know they're going to concede a load of goals. They're probably also going to score a load of goals down the other end. So with that being said, you look at this one and you look at the way that some of the Chelsea games have gone recently. 4-1 against Spurs, 4-1 at Newcastle, a loss, 4-4 against Man City, sandwiched in between both of those. And you start to think, well, a team that concedes a lot, scores a lot, Brighton, a team that concedes a lot all of a sudden, Chelsea, have been scoring more. This game to me, on face value, has got goals written all over it. And I'm going to say it now. I think there's at least 6 goals scored in this match. And I have no idea which team is going to get the majority of them. There could be a Chelsea that shows up and get absolutely battered. And I wouldn't be surprised about it anymore because nothing surprises me with the current dipping in and out trajectory of this side. On the other hand, I also wouldn't be surprised, based on the way that Brighton have defended this season. They had Europa League on Thursday night. I would not be surprised if Chelsea bounced back from that Newcastle defeat, scored a load of goals, looked fantastic again, and gave us reason to be happy, gave us reason to be optimistic about where the club is going. And before we do get into my Chelsea starting 11, which is of course what you're here for, I want to discuss a little bit right now about expectations, because at this point in time, we have been flip-flopping all season. We get excited, we get put down a peg. We get excited, we get put down a peg. And a lot of you guys have been saying like, oh, watch Chelsea beat Brighton, and then George is saying like, we're going to get top 4 and all this stuff. At this moment in time, wherever Chelsea are in the Premier League table is the only thing I'm going to care about. If we're 10th, I'm unhappy. We need to be higher. If we go up the table, but it's not quite Champions League, cool. Let's see if we can at least consolidate this. Because if anything, right now, I'm so over the up and down. Obviously, I want more of the ups, but it's just how quickly that we get pegged back so many steps when we're up here that is what concerns me the most right now about Chelsea. And it's the nature in which that we're doing all of this, you know. When we look at the potential defenders that we have available for this home game tomorrow, hardly anyone's available, and it's because everyone is flipping suspended. Yes, there's a load of injuries still, but like, we got the captain sent off. Ben Chilwell, the vice-captain, he's not available because he's always injured. And I'm tired of blaming injuries, but at the same time, we've got a new issue that keeps players and even managers out of the reckoning on the front line for us right now, and that is discipline. Suspensions. Like, we've got to keep our heads. Yes, we're a young team. Yes, currently we don't have the bottle to tell players that the day after a big loss, we don't go on little holidays and little 2-day jaunts. We go and train. We go and fix the problem. That's not where we're at right now, and we've just got to accept it, I'm afraid, Chelsea fans. We've got to accept that the identity of the club that we knew with the leaders on the pitch that we knew, your Terrys, Lampards, Drogba's, they're not there anymore. This is a new Chelsea era. And as much as we can be pissed off about it, the attention's got to be on focusing game by game. Yes, there's a project. Yes, there's an idea. Yes, we want to be here, but the reality is we're here. We're 10th in the Premier League table, and we're probably not as good as Brighton, even though they've been out of form. Yes, they've won their last 2 in all competitions, but they're out of form, but I'd say they're still a better team. They've still got a better system. And I go into this game nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, but without any further ado, we begin with the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. He's been conceding goals for fun recently, but Petrovic, I always compare the goalkeepers. You guys know this in a match preview. Petrovic has not had a sniff. He has been nowhere near the team. Let it be Carabao Cup, coming off the bench, because you don't really do that unless the goalkeeper's injured. It's always going to be Sanchez. Whether you like that or not, let me know in the comments down below. There's been enough games now. Do you like Sanchez as the Chelsea goalie, or do we need to improve? I'm going to say we need to improve. We move into a Chelsea back line. We're going to go with a back 4 here of Axel Disasi, Thiago Silva, Benoit Badiashile, with Levi Colwill coming back in at left back. When you think of it like this and you look at the playing profiles of these players, Disasi can play right back. Levi Colwill, we've seen this season, can play as a left back. It doesn't worry me as much. The concerning thing is, we said at the start of the season, look how much depth we've got in this squad. Now, because of injuries and discipline, you got no James, you got no Gusto, you got no Chilwell, you've got no Cucurella. All of a sudden, we are looking threadbare. This Chelsea squad is looking threadbare. We're relying on players before Christmas to fill in positions that they don't normally play, because we can't keep players fit and we can't keep players on the field and stop them from getting bookings. It's a nightmare. It's a joke. It's a disaster, some would say. But that's the back 4 that we're going to go with. And I've got confidence. I think Disasi's been a strong player for us this season. I think Badiashile is a really decent centre-half. I think Thiago Silva, as much as that game against Newcastle was an utter disaster from the main man, the Brazilian Monstro, at the back, I still think he's got enough to come back, bounce back and get a good performance in here against Brighton. And Levi Colwill, I want to see him back in the team. I'm not surprised that we've not seen him come straight back in, even though he was apparently fit after that shoulder injury, missing the internationals. But he's back in the team, moving into a midfield 3. We keep the continuity, but as I said in yesterday's podcast video, we need to see more from Enzo Fernandez. I think at the moment, he might be a little bit overweight and not up to the pace with the legs needed in the Premier League. Gallagher, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are the Chelsea midfield 3. These guys have got to show up here, because Brighton could run us ragged. We absolutely know when you play against Brighton, it's not going to be easy. They're going to be pressurising us. They're going to be pressing high. And Chelsea need to get the ball out from that defence quickly, get it into the midfield. And from Enzo, I want to see those killer final balls. I want to see the runs of the front 3, Cole Palmer, Raheem Sterling and Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea are going to need to be at their very best here. I'm concerned. When we talk about Nkunku at the start of this video, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the squad tomorrow, if I'm honest. I really, really don't. Pochettino will have known. It's not going to be about when you've been out for 4 months, 5 months. It's not like, oh, we're going to wait and see on Saturday. No, the bloke isn't going to be fit. He's not had a sniff. He's not been on the bench so far. So if it's touch and go on Friday, it's touch or it's go, whichever one of those is the most negative of the two. In my opinion, maybe I'm sat here in 6 things we learn after the game tomorrow, and we're talking about some phenomenal Nkunku cameo off the bench, which sees the optimism return to Chelsea Football Club. I'm trying to keep a lid on everything right now. I'm not trying to be too negative. I'm trying my hardest not to be overtly positive. As for a score prediction for this game, I think there's going to be goals. And I said it on the shootout video, which if you haven't already checked the shootout video, link in the top of the description to our Premier League predictions, Eunice and I over on the shootout channel. Make sure you're subscribed. I said 3-3 on that channel, and I'm sticking with a 3-3 prediction now. These are 2 teams that you don't know what you're going to get. Brighton, brilliant going forward, concede a load of goals. Chelsea, who knows? We could lose 6-0, we could win 6-0. At this point, it wouldn't surprise anyone. So I'm going down the middle, game of loads of goals, entertainment for all of the neutrals, and torture for us. Chelsea 3, Brighton 3. Let me know your score prediction in the comments down below, your thoughts on my starting 11. Is there any way that Ian Maatsen can get in the team? Or am I missing something here as well? Was he also injured? I don't think so, but Poch doesn't fancy him. It's going to be a defensive line of centre-backs. Brilliant. Go on, you Blues.